Earlier this year, I visited what I labeled as a dying mall in reference to the shops at Sunset Place here in the city of South Miami. At Sunset Place, I struggled to find a store that was open as I went from floor to floor. I think I could count on a single hand the number of stores that were actually open. All right, so it's been months since I was last here, and we finally have some sort of concrete information as to what's going to replace Sunset Place. For starters, the city of South Miami had a meeting on October 15th where Heatherwick Studio, which is the firm that's going to be in charge of designing the redevelopment of Sunset Place, they held a presentation there, showed all their plans and ideas for this space.
It's fake internal streets, second level retail that just doesn't work, and it just doesn't feel like a real piece of city.
And then at the end, commissioners ultimately approved the redevelopment plans. So in a nutshell, they're going to demolish everything you see around me minus the parking garage. So if I just pan around here, all of these buildings down here are going to be demolished, except for the parking garage, like I said, which is what we're standing on right now. In the presentation, which I watched the entire segment, so you guys won't have to, Thomas Heatherwick, which is the founder of it, basically outlined his goal, his vision for the reimagined Sunset Place. And it goes like this. First, I'm going to show you guys what Sunset Place looks like as a layout from above, which is what they showed in the commission meeting. And then here's the layout for what they're trying to transform it into. So there's gonna be a lot of pedestrianized walkways, alleyways, large plazas for people to gather in. And they are also keeping the roads that will run through it. So you'll be able to connect to Red Road, Sunset Drive, and US 1 as you go through the new Sunset Place.
Each of these spaces could have a different focus. A main high street for restaurants and bars, areas for boutiques and cafes, a culture and entertainment area, and lots of other smaller areas for hotels, outdoor markets, or independent shops.
There's gonna be more tall buildings here. So what you see here is not as high as it's gonna go. It's gonna be a lot higher than that, essentially going as high as 33 stories. Why? Because they think it'll help with foot traffic, having a larger density in the area. We get a lot of people that live above to come down and kind of spend their money or just hang around the new development.
Our number one priority is how do we make streets that are interesting, engaging, and we think that's by not making them be part of the buildings above, but in effect build a village of village scale buildings below, but they are facilitated by buildings above that kind of don't touch them.
So above it will be 1,500 apartment units across several buildings. Now over at the ground level, people will be walking through what they've been using with the term village style buildings. So you're gonna have pretty much all of it at ground level. That's the restaurants, shops, entertainment spaces. And then above, separated architecturally and visually, you're gonna have the high rises with the apartment buildings. So closer to Sunset Drive, you have a lower height restriction, so they're gonna go as high as 12 stories. Then as you get to US 1, it'll go as high as 33 stories. But again, they're going for a design that kind of separates the apartment from the village style buildings at the bottom. So that way you don't feel like you're walking through essentially a downtown area crowded with skyscrapers, because a lot of people really don't like that. By the way, Heatherwick Studio might not ring a bell because they're across the pond over in the UK, but you may be familiar with their designs. They were in charge of designing the Vessel in New York City, Little Island, also New York City, as well as Google's headquarters in Mountain View, California. And now they've taken on the task of essentially turning a dead mall behind me into something that brings the community back over here. So this parking garage that I'm standing on right now will be the only structure that remains. It will be touched up. They did offer some examples of designs that they maybe look into or inspirations for what to turn this into. It's gonna be really hard to make it inviting. But yeah, this is the only structure that will remain. And probably this too does need a little touch up. But these buildings here, this building that it's connected to, back there, would all be demolished and built again from the ground up. Just like the last time we were here, the only people who appeared to just be roaming Sunset Place today are either parents who are picking up their kids from what I think is a daycare that's here, and people who are going to the gym that is here. Something we saw in the first video is also what I'm noticing now. And there's probably a lot of offices somewhere nearby that people are utilizing this garage for. But other than that, I mean, you can't really see much from here, but if I zoom in, it's not much foot traffic. I mean, we're gonna have to go down there to see if anything's changed. We're right now gonna go to ground level just to take a look at how everything is right now compared to how it was last time we were here. The elevator still works. Okay, so I want to show you guys this view because it's in one of the renders. This one is supposed to say the Crossroads, but they've since removed that. It looks like they're modernizing it a bit. But you can see at the edge of those renders, the buildings are much taller on the right side. So this is Sunset Drive right here that you're seeing running across. This is where the buildings will be on the smaller end. So you'll see up to 12 stories here. Over on US 1 is where you'll see the 33 stories. There's a render that I think immediately follows where we just were at the corner where the building's supposed to say Crossroads. And if you look at this building, it kind of matches that other render as a continuation. So you're seeing those red and purple bottom of the buildings would be pretty much on this side. We're on the Sunset Drive side still. So this is where they would have those buildings as high as 12 stories. So it looks like they've since added a Spirit Halloween. Obviously I came here at a time that wasn't around Halloween season, but they found the space for a Spirit. I don't think there was any shortage of open spaces here. You guys can see this is all closed off, all of this. I was told this is like the Nike. You guys commented a lot of great things that helped tell me what used to be where, because I started walking by all these empty buildings not knowing where everything was. But yeah, this could have been a Spirit, this could have been a Spirit, that could have been a Spirit, that could have been a Spirit, that could have, this whole mall could have been a Spirit. Escalators are still down. I mean, I don't expect them to work now that we know this is all going to be demolished. But you know, I'm here to update you guys. And it looks like most of everything is the same. Again, like I said, Spirit Halloween seems to have made use of the space. Blank directory like before. I think this is new since we were last here. It says a new immersive adventure here in Sunset Place. Very weird to hear that. Runs from July through August 4th, 2024. So they're a couple months past due on this signage. Don't think anything is in a rush to replace it just yet. But as I mentioned, there will be several plazas in the new development. So I just want to show you guys the current plaza here at Sunset Place. A lot of open spaces, a stage that might have been for live music during its good times. At least the waterfall is still working and the water looks pretty good. Something I didn't notice last time is that the year this place opened is right over there, 1999. And the parking garage where we started the video, that's where we were. Again, the only remaining structure after they knock everything down will be the parking garage. Another place you guys said that I missed on going to because I stopped in one place was TM Poets. Don't think we'll pop in now because I've got a lot of things like my tripod and scooter. But you guys mentioned good things about this place, so I'll take your word for it. As I mentioned in the last video, Barnes & Noble is one of the remaining tenants up there. So it's the only road that you can technically drive through. So you've got US 1 in that direction, so people coming in can only go in one way towards 57th Avenue Red Road. In that direction, it is just going this way towards US 1 if you are exiting the parking garage, which has an entrance and exit right there. And then, yeah, that's the only way you can really cut through this development. One thing that I didn't mention is the surrounding areas. So this area is growing just like everywhere else in Miami-Dade County, essentially. I mean, you guys seen my videos with Wynwood. That is an apartment building currently under construction. A bunch of units look like they are going to be opening up there. The Metro Rail, which we just saw departing from the South Miami station, runs all the way down to the South Dadeland station over there. Those buildings, that's the Dadeland area. To the north, it goes to downtown Miami and beyond. And then you have a transit-oriented development currently under construction, adding a lot more apartments to the mix on top of the 1,500 that are going to be built. So I think it's good timing, if I'm being honest, that they're thinking about redeveloping it and that the plans were already approved. They just have to get the plans in place and actually demolish the other buildings. But by the time this can grow again, there's going to be a lot of new apartments, a lot of new people living in the general vicinity that is easily walkable as well as connected with the Metro Rail, the Metro bus as well. All right, very curious to know what you guys think about the redevelopment plans for Sunset Place. This is a place a lot of people have really come to in their childhood, teenage years, first dates. You guys let me know great stories in the last Sunset Place update in the comments. I'm very curious what you guys think about the plans to turn this into high rises as high as 33 stories, 1,500 plus apartments, adding to the other developments that are taking place in the surrounding neighborhoods. One thing we can all agree on is that Sunset Place is not working. I mean, it's evident by the handful of stores that are open and the majority that are closed. Spirit Halloween excluded because they are a seasonal store. After Halloween, they're going to be gone. But there's a few tenants here that are still in business. One we spoke to last time, and then others like big name stores like Barnes & Noble, AMC. So I'm very curious, when there is a new Sunset Place, if those tenants will be invited back or if they'll be able to afford whatever the rent will be. No doubt AMC has all the money in the world, but small shops like the one we went to in the last video, this is a major project by a pretty successful studio with a big portfolio. So with that said, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell button. You'll be notified each time I upload a new video. And from South Miami, signing off now. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video.